So top tip on room numbering if you're doing an apart hotel development. We've learnt this one from painful experience, and that's why we're working out the room numbering now before we've even started the rip out on this place. So what you've got to really give thought to right off the bat before any work starts, any rip out, anything, is the flow of the rooms and the spaces and how rooms are going to be numbered for guests as they move around the property, because otherwise there's going to be confusion between the room numbers that your architect allocates when they're just looking at the plans on paper, which might make sense on paper but don't make sense when it comes to where different rooms are going to be accessed around the building. And then there's potential for confusion when the architect or the planning consultant or the building control are referencing a particular room number and the builder thinks you're talking about a different room number because it doesn't correspond with what's on the plan. So it's much better to put thought into that and get that right from the outset rather than keep chopping and changing the room numbers, and then you might end up with a kitchen where you don't want it to be. Now, case in point, I'm going to spin you around here. I've just walked in through what will be the main entrance. So we've got rooms left and right here that the architect has quite logically numbered, rooms 1 and 2. Again, for me, where they end up being numbered will depend on where the doorway is for this second room, because I like to go left and right. But that all makes sense. You've got room 1 and 2. This I think was room number 4, which makes sense. It's the next door you come to, so that's going to be number 3, and then number 4. Now, the architect then was working ground floor to first floor, which I guess is logical if you're an architect and you're working on those plans, which means that the remainder of the ground floor rooms are across the event space here. That's rooms 5, 6 and 7. But guests won't be allowed to come through this space to get to those rooms. They will access those rooms from the outside of the building down a separate side access. Bang. Which means, how does your outside signage work? Because you can't say, right, rooms 1, 2, 3, 4 are here, go back out the door and go round for 5, 6 and 7. Oh, but by the way, come back in here and go up the stairs for rooms 8, 9, etc. That doesn't work. So all the rooms that access on the main building, as you see now, my sign up here for our builders is rooms 5 to 14 are this way, which means that everything now has a logical flow through the main building, and it means that we have a separate sign somewhere outside here that says rooms 15, 16 and 17 are accessed down the side here. There'll obviously be a nice gravel path leading down the side access to rooms 15, 16 and 17. Just spinning you around. There we go. Then the last thing is you have the age-old debate about the superstitious room 13. Do you have a room 13? You may have noticed a lot of hotels don't have a room 13 out of superstition. And funnily enough, we do get a lot of problems in room 13 in one of our other apart hotels. So my advice would be stick with the normal numbering, include room 13 when you're dealing with architects, builders, planners, because the last thing you want is to put in a planning application and they go, oh, you've got one extra room, you haven't got enough parking. Don't rely on the planners to work out that you've skipped room 13. They'll just look at the total number. And then when it comes to labelling up the rooms for guests, you can switch, you can put your marketing hat on and you can skip room 13, make that 14, and then you can avoid all of those superstitious nasties. Hopefully that helps.